Well, welcome to Theme Thursday, guys. Now, I know this week's Theme Thursday is corduroy, lace, and going back in time. But I was a bad mommy last week. Look at that face. And poor little Laura was all dressed up for hoodies and bundling up, and she got left out. Oh. She was very upset because she was wearing her pretty little bunny sweater with the big wooden buttons on it, and she was just beside herself. So I told her she could be in this video showing off her little bunny hoodie, of course, with all her little bunnies that she loves. So there's Laurel doing last week's Theme Thursday. Now this week is, like I said, corduroy, lace, and going back in time. So here we have my beautiful little Khaleesi. Let me see if I can get those gorgeous blue eyes in there. So Khaleesi is wearing this little outfit that has eyelet lace around the bib portion here. So it's a sweet little outfit, and it's almost vintage looking, but it's not vintage. And she's playing with her little dragon Cinder, which of course she is the infant mother of dragons, our little Khaleesi. And she's wearing some little old-fashioned socks. And these little shoes may possibly be vintage. They have the regular buckles on them. Remember the little buckles right there? Now they're just usually Velcro. So anyway, there is Khaleesi doing lace. Of course, I have to have my cheaters. And the sweet little Julia is one of my cheaters. And she has got on her vintage looking gown. It's not actually vintage to my knowledge, but it looks vintage. And so does her little wooden non-rattle. But it does have lace trim on it. So there's lace around the bodice and lace around her bonnet, and there's lace on her shoes, lace around her sleeves. So she's doing lace, and right beside her is my precious little Natalie, and Natalie's wearing her, her purple corduroy dress today, and she is doing corduroy and lace because she has got this very pretty lace and pearl barrette in her hair, which she's not real happy about. But she's sitting here keeping Miss Julia company. Here's another little cheater, and that's my little Micah, and he's wearing his little vintage gown from last week as well. It is a little vintage Dior nightgown, and he is laying on a vintage baby blanket. This belonged to my youngest son, who just turned 35. So there is Micah doing vintage. Down here we got John Luke, and he is also doing vintage because he has on a cloth diaper with pins, and so he's doing vintage that way. And then, or back in time, whatever you want to call it. Then over here we have Kaylie, who is doing vintage, not vintage, she's doing lace and corduroy because she has on her lace headband, and she's wearing her little purple corduroy skirt, little pockets and bows on the pockets, and she has lace on her socks. That's Kaylie doing corduroy and lace. And Kelly is doing vintage because he is wearing a little sleeper that my son also wore, who just turned 35. It's a little yellow terry cloth sleeper. Yeah, so Nathan wore that, and Nathan is the one that just had the new baby Isley. So yeah, that's who wore this when he was a baby. So there's Kelly and Kaylie. And out here we have the Madeleine, and she's doing corduroy with her little blue corduroy pinafore and her pretty little blouse that has all the fall flowers and stuff on it. It's got fall floral embroidery across the front and down on the pockets. And she is playing with our little vintage Raggedy Ann. And this is a vintage Raggedy Ann, and she's actually laying on an antique chair of my great-grandmother's who did this, whoops, watch out, Madeleine, who did the needlepoint on this chair long, 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 long time ago. So definitely going back in time with that one. Thank you, Miss Madeleine. Down here we got Sophie Kate, and Sophie is doing corduroy, and she has on her purple corduroy dress today. And she is playing with her sister, Johanna. Johanna, look at me, baby girl. There she is. There she is. And they are playing, and she's got on a brown corduroy dress that's got little light brown polka dots on it. And she's got that little vintage kitty cat over there. And she's got lace on her socks. Well, I don't think that's lace. I think that's ribbon. But anyway. And they are both playing with these little vintage Boyd bears that I just got when I went to Fredericksburg a couple weeks ago. They're both little Boyd's bears that I found, and they are definitely vintage. And they're playing with their little Boyd's bears and doing corduroy. And also she has lace around the neck of her shirt there. Ta-da! Now there's Kai. Kai is not dressed for the theme, but he is on the phone with Joseph, who made it safely home, and they are twinning today with their little cowboy outfits or Western themed rompers with their little cowboy boots. And they've been talking on that phone, I think, just about since Joseph got home. Next we have Ellen, and Ellen is doing corduroy. She is on her little gray corduroy dress with little kitty cats on the pockets, and she's another one of my little cheaters. She had this on last week, although she had a big sweater on, so you couldn't really see it. So let's get those pretty eyes. Hello there, sweet girl. And so she is doing corduroy, and she's holding on to these canes that her daddy made. Those are canes that he made from the sumac plant, and he just peeled off all the bark and sanded them down and put some little shellac on them, and they definitely look vintage, don't they? But down here we have Mr. Aiden, and Aiden is wearing black corduroy today, a black corduroy romper with his black shoes, and he's playing with his daddy's vintage jug, and that is vintage. And we just got that at an antique shop recently. Next we have some more little corduroy kids. We have little Hannah, and Hannah is got on a vintage corduroy dress that has little daisies all over it, and then she has these patchwork or tartan-like pockets trimmed in bric-a-brac, and she's got lace on her socks. Lace on her socks. Those shoes look red, but they're not. they're a deep pink. Deep pink. And it matches that. Actually, without this light on it, it matches that, but with the light on it, they look red. But anyway, there is Miss Hannah. She's doing corduroy and lace. Then we have Presley sitting here with her, and Presley has got on her mustard yellow corduroy dress. I think Auntie Suzanne sent that to us, and her gold shoes. And she isn't. Hannah is. Hannah is sitting in a rocker that belonged to my little sister who just turned 58 years old. And that was her rocker. So it's around 56 years old. So it got original paint and everything on it. So she is sitting in a vintage rocker. Presley has got her feet propped up on a vintage stool that I've had for a long time, which was handmade needlepoint, that when my daughter and her family moved in with me, their dog decided he would chew off the corner of it, unfortunately. But it's still useful. So there is Hannah and Presley in their corduroy. And then we have Miss Kennedy over here, trying to get in on the action. And Kennedy is doing lace. She has lace around her sleeves on her little shirt, and she has lace all over her little skirt. She has a white lace, white on white lace skirt on. And she's doing lace today. Then I'm gonna swing around here and show you my gorgeous, gorgeous little Caitlin. And Caitlin is doing corduroy with layers and layers of corduroy on her little aqua corduroy dress with pretty flowers on. And she has got ribbons on her socks, not lace or ribbons, but she does have a lace bow. You can see that there. I can't get it, it's too bright. Too bright. Let's see if we can get it a little dark. There we go. She got a pink lace bow in her hair. And then her little corduroy. So that is our contribution to Theme Thursday. So glad y'all could stop by. Glad to Hannah. Glad to see that Joseph made it home. And yeah, I hope y'all have a nice rest of the weekend. Love you all so much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.